You.
Tonight is Thursday, August 10th, 2017. Tonight on Gayxyz, we have plenty of topics to discuss. One is a gay couple who were dating find out that they're later brothers. So we're going to discuss that. I want to know how the hell that happened. Sinead O'Conner has been in the news and not in a good way. We're going to discuss Insecure, and I'm going to tell you about my root canal from hell. All that and more tonight on Gayxyz.
I don't know what's going on. I'm not blowing up your phone. No tears on my pillow. I can see again. I'm not crying to my friends. And the lies I know your taste. I believe what you say. Cause this is different. I put my heart on the line. Like I never did this before. You're bringing me back to life. Like I never did this before. I thought I knew love, but I didn't know nothing. Was just a word, but with you it means something. Feels like the first time I'm giving my everything. Like I never did this before. Did this before. Did this before. Like I never did this before. Did this before. Did this before. Did this before. Like I never did this before. Like I never did this before. I got used to feeling used. Every lie became my truth. Now I see a bit of you. I can see it again. You made me feel beautiful. The only girl in your world. Forget all the ones before. Cause this is different. I put my heart on the line. Like I never did this before. You're bringing me back to life. Like I never did this before. Did this before. Did this before. Like I never did this before. Did this before. Did this before. Like I never did I thought I knew love, but I didn't know nothing. Was just a word, but with you it means something. Feels like the first time I'm giving my everything. Like I never did this before. Did this before. Did this before. Like I never did this before. Did this before. Did this before. Like I never did this before. This before. This before. This before. Like I never did this before. This before. This before. This before.
Hi, everybody. Ooh, shit. Hello, everybody. Sorry. Hi, everybody. Welcome to KXYZ. I'm having some issues with my microphone tonight. It keeps falling down. I don't know why. So thanks for listening to the show. It's Thursday, August 10th. It's me, Donovan, and Jason. How are you, Jason?
What's up, everyone? How y'all doing?
Tonight we're talking about several things. But first, before we start talking, I wanted to give a happy birthday shout out to Kimberly. She calls into the show every once in a while. She's an avid listener of this show and my own show, Off Limits Show. So thanks for listening, Kimberly, and happy birthday.
Happy birthday, girl.
So we are talking tonight about, well, lots of things. But one of the things I wanted to discuss was this story about a gay couple who find out that they're brothers. Now, that is something that
you see exactly. You got to break this down for me because I'm just speechless with this. How did that?
Well, it wasn't just that they were dating. This was a gay couple who was like married and like together for like partners or whatever, for a really long time. I think for like 8 years or something like that. And
8 years?
Yeah. And they were together for a really long time. Hold on. My fucking microphone. Oh my God. I've got a fucking boom on it, but the fucking microphone keeps dropping down like a limp dick. It won't stay in one place. Hold on.
And people, he gets on to me about my audio issues.
This isn't an audio issue. It's an equipment issue, hardware issue. Anyway,
well, same thing.
It's just a setup. It's my fault. Anyway, so this couple, they've been together for like 8 years or whatever, and they're very much in love and everything else. Anyway, so what happened is the one of them was adopted, and he went to search for his parents and all that kind of stuff, and eventually he found his father. His father ends up to be the same father the father that his husband's mother was once married to before. So they're half brothers. So they are half brothers, and they are on this show. It's like the Jerry Springer show in England or something. I can't remember the name of the show. It's like Jeremy Kyle's show, and they're on the show, and he's like, well, I've got the results of your DNA test, blah blah blah, just like Jerry Springer does. And he opens it up, and they say before that he opens them up, they say, we'll support each other no matter what as friends if it turns out that we're brothers. Anyway, and so it turns out that they are indeed half brothers. And so one of them stands up and runs out of the room and just starts bawling and crying. And can you imagine like being in love with somebody for so long and then find out you can't be with them anymore because you're related to them by blood, like a brother?
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out how they didn't know.
What do you mean they didn't know? Why would they know? How would they know? They had completely different fathers, or completely different mothers. I'm sorry, not fathers. Completely different mothers, and one of them was adopted and didn't know where he was from. He was adopted. He didn't know his brother's family at all was partly his family. He didn't know that.
Okay. Well, that's different then.
Well, that's what I said. I said he was adopted.
I didn't hear that part. Sorry.
You don't listen, bitch. Anyway, he was adopted, so he didn't know. Anyway, so I just think it's a horrendous story because you find out you were in love with somebody together for so long, you find out that you're related to them and you can't be with them and whatever anymore because you're related by blood and you've had sex with them among everything else you've done with them. It's got to be really weird. You have a sibling, don't you?
I have two.
You have two siblings. And so, like, you imagine the last guy you were with for a while, and it turned out to be your brother or half brother or something. Wouldn't that be freaking
I would just throw up all over the place if that was the case. I would just profusely vomit until I just couldn't vomit anymore.
I can't say I would blame you. I wouldn't say I would blame you. Anyway, so that's that story. I just thought it was sad. And if you see it, you can go to you can actually go to YouTube and you can like type in gay brothers or gay couple finds out their brothers on Jeremy Kyle or something like that, and you'll find it anyway. Another thing in the news is poor little Sinead O'Conner. Now, have you seen this video?
I haven't seen the video, but I have seen it circulating online a lot.
Okay. Well, it's only 2 minutes long, so I'm going to play it, and then we'll discuss it, okay?
Okay.
Well, I'm going to try to play it. Piece of shit. Play. Play, bitch! There it goes.
I hope that this video is somehow helpful. Not actually to me, but the fact I know that I'm only one of millions and millions and millions of people in the world that are just like me, actually. They don't have necessarily the resources that I have in my heart or my purse, for that matter. I was able to escape my country and escape stigma and escape all the things that meant it okay for everybody to use the fact that I suffer from 3 mental illnesses as something to beat me with rather than as something with which they might, be compassionate. I'm now living in a Travelodge motel in the arse end of New Jersey. I've got a kidney stone. I'm all by myself, and there's absolutely nobody in my life except my doctor, my psychiatrist, the sweetest man on earth, who says I'm his hero. And that's about the only thing keeping me alive at the moment. The fact that I'm his bloody hero. And that's kind of pathetic. And I gave so much love in my life. And I just can't understand how a person can be left so alone. And I want everyone to see what it's like. It's why I'm making this video. The mental illness, you know, it's a bit like drugs. It doesn't give a shit who you are. And equally, you know what's worse? It's the stigma. It doesn't give a shit who you are. And suddenly, all the people who are supposed to be loving you and taking care of you are treating you like shit. And then when you're angry or you're hurt because they're doing it, it's like a witch hunt. They're pointing at you going, see, this is why we don't want to know. And it's like, oh, I'm fighting like all the millions and millions that I know I'm one of to stay alive every day. Which I'm doing because I love the people that are doing this to me.
So that's it. And if you watch the video, she has an incredible amount of pain in her face, and she's incredibly despondent. It's obvious. She's just desolate. And it's just heartbreaking because I always find it, you know, crazy that people who have such superstardom or whatever, and this isn't unusual. It's just an irony, I think, of fame like theirs, is they end up alone, like she is. And not only that, she suffers from, like she said, 3 mental illnesses, and people don't really support her or try to help her. They just kind of blame her for her actions or whatever. So anyway, I just think it's really sad that she's in that position. And even Annie Lennox, you know who Annie Lennox is, right?
Yeah.
I follow her on Twitter because I love her. She's awesome. She's one of my favorite artists. But anyway, she posted a thing about this. This is how I knew about it. She posted this. She said, you know, if anybody knows her or whatever, please go help her or whatever. I feel sorry for her because that's how Annie Lennox is. She's very empathetic and she's very caring. And she said, I can't believe that nobody is helping her, but nobody's really helping her. So why do you think that is? Why do you think people end up like that when they are? I mean, I know why, but what do you think?
I feel as if they're not sure what to do with someone who suffers with a mental illness. They're not sure how to go about handling the situation. But here's the thing. I want to know where her husband is because according to Wikipedia, she's married.
I don't think she's married anymore. I thought she was divorced. I think she's been divorced like 3 times.
It says her spouse is Barry Harridge. I hope I'm saying that correctly. It says spouse. Married in 2011.
I think that they're divorced, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't know that much about her anymore. I mean, I used to, but I don't anymore. I know she's been married a few times, and I know she's had a lot of major issues with her spouses. You know, but I don't know if she's married or not.
Yeah, and I mean, what happened to her? Look, she was a gorgeous woman back in the day. I don't.
Why does that matter?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just stating what I see on my screen. Okay. But as far as
she is sitting there despondent and crying or bawling her eyes out, and she's miserable, and she suffers from 3 mental illnesses, of course she doesn't look good. She looks like crap because she feels like it.
Right. Well, if she's married, according to Wikipedia says she married. So if she's still married to her husband, I want to know where the hell her husband is because she said that she's alone, but according to online, it says that she's married. If she's married, if she's not married, then I don't know. I'm like, where's her family? Does she doesn't have family members or I don't know if Sinead O'Conner has children. Oh, she does have children. So
she has a 13-year-old son. She has a 13-year-old son. And she's I'm trying to read what it says. It says her O'Connor's first husband was Grammy Award winning blah 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 blah. It says her current husband, the same by. I'm sorry. There's so much fucking shit here. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find out about her current husband. It says something about her husband here. It's going through like all of her fucking husbands. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all of her husband, but it says the most recent one is Barry Harridge, and it says married in 2011.
No, I see that, but I'm trying to figure out what his deal is. But anyway, okay, 2004, she ended the marriage to husband number 4, Barry Harridge, 38-year-old therapist. So she is divorced from him. It just lasted 16 days.
Oh, well, this has, okay.
They just never have updated it. Whoever did that didn't update it. So she's not, she doesn't have anybody. So anyway.
I mean, no family, no brother, sister? I mean, there has to be someone in her family that knows she's out here suffering with this.
Well, if you listen to what she said when she was talking, she was saying, I don't know if you got this part, but she was saying that, everyone knows she suffers from mental illness and these mental illnesses, and she suffered for them her entire lifetime, and it's really hard for her, blah, blah, blah. But instead of being understanding and empathetic about it, they just kind of wash their hands clean with her. Instead of being there for her at all, they're not there for her at all. They're just completely out of her life because they were sick of her, basically is what she was saying. And she's like, if people would understand that mental illness is just like something that people go through, like with addiction or something else, it's something you can't control. It's something that you have to control through therapy and everything else. If people understood that, it's not a choice. It's part of your brain chemistry. And she was trying to explain this to the people in the video. Then people would be more understanding. But people don't understand that. They act like she's doing this on purpose or she's acting this way on purpose. You know what I mean? So I think so I think she's saying basically people in her life and family and whatever, they don't actually care enough.
I mean, if she's suffering with a mental illness, I mean, if she's alone and she's suffering with a mental illness, I mean, the only thing I would recommend, is her to go check into some type of rehab facility or some type of facility where they can help her out with that, because there are plenty of places that will be more than happy to take her in and help her, but I'm not in that situation, so I don't know exactly how a person would go by doing that. But I would think if you suffer with a mental illness and you're looking for help, I'm sure there's institutions out there that will help you.
Well, it's not that. She's been to institutions. She's been institutionalized, and she has a psychiatrist, like she said, that she sees constantly, who helps her. She's the only person that's really her friend, or whatever she said now. And so she's going through that, and she's doing the work. It's just that it's not fixed. It's just like somebody going through the 10-step program or 12-step program. I mean, for drugs or alcohol, they go through it, but they still have relapses and they have issues. So it's just the same with mental illness.
So is she? I mean, along with the mental illness, I'm assuming she's also feeling like this because she doesn't have anyone to lean on for support.
Right, she's lonely, and that's what I was saying. It's ironic someone so famous would be so lonely, but it happens all the time, and then a lot of people end up, especially the drugs and alcohol problems, end up dying as a result of it.
And why is she living out of a travel lodge?
I don't know why. I was telling you what she said. I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, that's just strange to me, because I mean, someone like her, I don't know. I'm sure it's somewhere she's still getting residuals from albums and stuff like that, but just to be living out of a travel, I mean, it's her money that low? I mean, I don't know. I don't
think her money's that low, because she said in the video also, she said most people aren't as fortunate to have the resources I have, not only in my heart, but in my purse. So I think she still has money. I think she's there by choice. I don't know why. What's in New Jersey? I have no fucking clue. But anyway, it's just a sad thing. I think it's interesting and sad because people who are so famous to fall to such a state is just always so. It's like a star, literally a star that's fallen. Their star rises and then it falls again. It's just sad.
Right.
It's depressing. But anyway, moving on. There was this article I read that I thought it was interesting. We could discuss it tonight on the show and see what you thought about it. It's a little bit of psychiatry or whatever, or psychology, I mean. But I was interested to see what you might think. And it says these are the 8 things that you can do in your life. 8 brutally honest truths you need to hear if you want to get your shit together in your life. And I think these are pretty fucking on point. I mean, some of these I would have said on my own, and some of them I wouldn't know how to say, but I understood. But let's see what you think. Number 1, you're going to regret how much time you spend on social media. It says social media is amazing, and I'm as addicted to it as you are, but social media is also making us more disconnected than ever. Social media is robbing way too many of us of the real connections and real life experiences. Rather than looking at the world as we walk somewhere or ride a public transit, we regress to what the digital world has to offer. If our addiction level stays the same, things could become really scary, and this doesn't even take into account the potential repercussions of so many exposure to the technology. So anyway, yeah, so are you somebody who's guilty of spending a lot of time on your phone and Instagram or Facebook or whatever, Twitter?
I mean, I don't say I spend a lot of time, but I do spend time on my phone. I wouldn't say what do they consider a lot? Like more than 3 hours a week or something? I mean, like, what do they consider excessive?
I don't think 3 hours a week. 3 hours a week would be considered excessive. No.
I mean, 3 hours a day or something. I don't consider myself to being on the line because I don't get on Facebook every day. I don't get on Twitter every day. I don't get on Instagram every day. It's more like every other day. So, I mean, unless they have like a set number to where like anything over this number is excessive, then I can have something to compare it to. But I mean, I'm not on there every single day. It's more like every other day. And then out of those three, out of the Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram that I have, I would say out of the three, I'm on Facebook the most. Now, there are moments where I might get on there for 2 days and I'm off for one, and I get back on there for 2 more days and I'm off for two. Like, it's kind of stagnant like that, but I'm not just on there constantly 24/7. I'm not, as soon as I walk away from my phone, as soon as I walk away from my computer, it's not like I pull up on my phone and that type of thing. It's not like that, so...
Well, I think that, let's say you're walking somewhere, you're probably on your phone, aren't you? If you're walking down the street, I mean, not somewhere in your house necessarily, but I mean...
Well, yeah, I mean, I've taken JoJo, who's my dog, and I've walked him and been on my phone at the same time.
And what about if you're in a waiting room waiting for your car to get ready or something like that? You're on your phone, probably.
Yeah, well, that's almost kind of a given because...
That's not the point. The point is you're still on social media.
Right. Well, yeah,
Instead
but
of talking to somebody next to you, like I think what the article's saying is like you could sit there like most people do today, which I am guilty of as well. I mean, I sit there on my phone and in my own little world and I'm reading or whatever, texting, whatever. Instead of where in the 20 years ago, you'd be sitting there and chatting up people next to you. You know what I mean? And connecting with people around you most likely instead of just sitting there on your fucking phone.
But in this day and age, I really don't want to connect with people around
That's
me.
the fucking point. Hello? That's the point. That's the fucking generation you're in.
Right. So, I mean, and plus, I mean, when you're in in certain area, I mean, when you're in certain, locations or like getting an oil change and you're waiting in a waiting room or something like that, it's like your cell phone is also, I also consider my cell phone like my boredom box.
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
like, there's nothing on. Let me pull something up on my phone or let me play a game or, something like that. But yeah.
Number 2 says your reactions are the problem. Yes, shit happens, and quite often that shit really sucks to have to go through or deal with. But regardless of how challenging something is, it's always our reactions to it that will dictate how much it's going to impact our lives. I believe that to 100,000% true.
Wait, say that one more time.
I'm not going to read that whole fucking thing again. You should listen. Your reactions are the problem. Your reactions are the problem, basically. Instead of, no matter what you do, what you have to go through in life, shit happens. But what dictates the impact of that on your life is how you react to it. So, like, if shit happens to you, and like, oh my god, you just break down. Oh my god, my life sucks, and you go nuts because you're like, my life sucks, and you just kind of like die and inside yourself and don't really do shit. Or you can actually rise to the occasion and overcome the obstacle. So like, that's what they're saying. Your reaction is what dictates your life. Don't you agree with that, or you don't agree with that?
I agree. I definitely agree.
Good, you better agree. Okay, I'm just kidding. The riskiest thing, number 3, the riskiest thing you can do is to avoid risks. I believe this to be very true too. Are you somebody who's a risk taker or not, Jason, in life?
I have my moments. I'm not a risk taker all the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have my moments, and I've had my moments. So.
Well, I think they're saying that it's important to take risks in life in general. I agree because I've always said and this is an old saying, but I've always said no guts, no glory, and that's very true. Because and also another saying is I can't remember the saying, but anyway, but people who are like people who are like sheepish or sheeps, don't ever really make waves in life. They don't ever make anything happen. You have to actually take a fucking risk in life to make something big or change happen in your life. Like, think about the things that have happened in your life that you've done that actually required you to take a risk. I don't know what that would be, but I'm sure something like maybe a job interview that you didn't think you should get, or I don't know, whatever. Maybe the fact you're trying to do real estate now or something. You know what I mean? That's kind of brave.
Right.
So
yeah, that is taking a risk. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's the good things in life. Anyway, number 4, you should always have enough money for what matters and not what doesn't matter. Yeah, it's talking about like we spend like $7 a day in premium coffee, which is an investment in nothing. But we do overthink and see spending a couple $100s on something life-changing is too much. So like, maybe going on vacation, you're like, I can't afford to go on vacation, but you can afford $7 a day in coffee, which is like what? I don't know, what is that? 7 times 36. Wait, that's like a vacation right there. It's like $3,600 a month or something, a year. So there you go. So do you waste money on shit?
No, I mean I'm pretty frugal with my money for the most part. I mean
That's good.
I don't go out and go to Starbucks like every day. Normally, on average, I'll go to Starbucks once a week. Normally, it's on a Saturday because Saturday is normally my Starbucks day. But I really just don't go out and just spend shit just on end and just blow money like that.
Right. That's
I've always been kind of frugal with my money.
That's
so.
good. That's good. Number 5, people are going to hate you no matter what you do.
Well, that's a true. That my mother's told me that ever since I was a kid. She's like, no matter what you do, what you say, there's gonna be people who just will not like you. So
you're always gonna have haters.
That's nothing new.
Ain't got no haters. You ain't doing nothing, says Candy. Anyway, number 7, people don't think of you as much as you think they do. That's very true. I was literally in my car once when I was like 19, driving back, and I was looking at this guy in his car next to me. I mean, just kind of out of the side of my eye. And all for some reason I had this epiphany. I was like, you know what? That guy's having the same experience right now that I'm having. He's looking out through his own eyes and experiencing life through his perspective and not through my perspective. This world does not revolve around me. I was like, I literally had a fucking epiphany moment like that. I was like, wow, other people actually have their own little thing going on. It's like, what happens, like the shit that happens to me doesn't fucking matter to them. And I had to actually realize that. And it's true. People don't fucking think about you or your life unless, you make them like somebody close to you or whatever. Like you're fucking, like your family and stuff does or whatever. But I mean, people like you don't know or barely know, like you're walking down the street or some shit. People don't give a fuck about you. They don't care. They just care about their own fucking shit. It's true. Anyway, number 8 is the last one. Not even the perfect relationship is going to complete you. And that's true. I used to believe that love was everything in life. And when I was young and naive and stupid, and love does not, you find the one or whatever, it does not fulfill you in every way. It only fulfills you in that one aspect of your life. So are you some kind of person who actually looks for love? Are you the kind of person who gives a fuck about love at all? And what's your deal?
I don't look for it, no.
I can tell. Okay.
I don't. I just don't. Well, especially, in this day and age, no one really wants to date anyway. I mean, I've been approached a few times, but it's never been anyone that I've really been interested in. And it's funny you bring that up, is because I actually had a conversation with one of my friends about this, and she was talking about how she was having, just such a hard time trying to date and find a man, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And then she, because everyone has like, a list of guidelines or something that they kind of look for in a guy. And she finally found a guy who had everything she was looking for: career, money, home, stuff like that. But they just didn't have a connection. So I'm just like, I'd say, well, that clearly shows you that you can find a man who has all of that, but if that connection isn't there, it's just not there. So, I mean, but for me, I don't look. I'm too busy focused on me right now.
I think that when I was young, I looked all the time, and that was my mistake when I was really young and like 19, early teens. But as time moved on, I realized, when I didn't look, and that's what they always say, and it's true. When you don't look, it's when usually you find somebody. You're not really looking for it; it just kind of pops up, and that's what happened to me. So I think it's best that what you're doing is a good thing. You're just focused on yourself, and if it comes along, it comes along. If it doesn't, you're good. By the way,
right? That's how I feel. If it comes along, that's great. If not, then oh well.
C'est la vie. Yeah. Okay. Next thing, there's this coffee that causes unwanted erections. A Texas-based coffee company is recalling its product after the FDA discovered it contained a natural ingredient similar to Viagra. Apparently, men were drinking the coffee and experiencing instant erections.
What coffee company is this?
Instantaneous erections. It's called the Kopi Genten Transdental National Herbs Coffee. I don't know what the fuck that means. Anyway, but it contains dismethyl carbendazole or something that's similar to Viagra's strong ingredient sildenafil. Anyway, so that's interesting. I think people actually might want to drink that coffee if they...
So, I mean, is the problem that if they get an erection, they stay hard for a long time?
Well,
is that the issue? Or just giving them an erection?
Well, because what the Viagra does or whatever as well is it's a what's it called? Vasodilator or restrictor? I can't remember which one it is. Anyway, it lowers your blood pressure really low. And this particular coffee does it to a really, really low point as well. And so you could actually pass out or die. So, yes, it's bad.
Oh, well, there you go, all you coffee connoisseurs. I don't drink coffee like that. So,
So, speaking of epiphanies earlier, tell me quickly about not quickly, but just tell me about your epiphany about Insecure. You said with Insecure.
Okay.
The show Insecure.
Right. So, as everyone may know, Donovan and myself, we both watch Insecure that comes on HBO on Sunday nights. And I've been watching since last season, which was the first season. And I was watching this and I was like, you know what? This is pretty much me in different situations that between Issa and Molly and the different characters on the show. I was like, I've been through all of that, even from the serious stuff all the way down to the funny scenes on there. I'm like, I've been through that. And I feel like when it comes to black characters, not just on HBO, but just black characters, lead characters on like Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder, so on and so on. I'm grateful that they do have shows out there that have African American women as leads, or African Americans in general as leads, such as, Blackish and so on and so on. However, I feel like those shows they don't have a certain demographic, which is the black or either just in general like minority 30-something. Okay, so I feel like we had those shows back in the day, like in the 90s. You had Living Single, you had A Different World, you had Martin, you had different black sitcoms that kind of went towards a younger demographic. And even when those shows were currently in production, I was young. I was like in elementary, middle school. But when I was thinking about it, I was like, they don't have shows that relate to a minority 30-something or a black 30-something, in America. So I was watching some of these scenes and I was like, I can really relate. I mean, I've already can relate to the show, but some of the scenes I was watching, I was like, I can really relate to this, just for the simple fact that Molly, for example, Molly is Issa's friend on the show, the lawyer. She, she's, because before I even say that, I want to say this, then I'll get back to that. When I was growing up, my mom always told me that, if you go to school and get an education and go to college and get a degree, you can get a good job in the world. And clearly in 2017, that is not the fucking case, because I am living proof. Okay. So, and the thing is that, you have two situations. You have one situation where you have Molly. She's gone to college, got her law degree. She works at this law firm. Now that, she's found out she's being severely underpaid as opposed to her colleagues, she doesn't want to be there. But then at the same time, it's like, well, you have bills to pay, so you can't quit. You can't go back home, so that type of thing. So it's like, I have to stay here and stay at this job that I fucking hate because I have to pay my bills. And then you have Issa's situation to where, she's working and everything, but she's going through all type of relationship issues, and you're not sure if you want to take them back or not, to take her back, and you're confused and trying to give off these signals like you're okay when you're really not, and that type of thing. So it's like, I can see from both sides of the spectrum, because one situation was like I said, with Molly working at her job as a lawyer. At my previous job, it paid good money. I enjoyed, working with the people that I was working with, but I knew deep down inside I was not going to stay for long, just for the simple fact that I hated the job. And I just wanted to get out of there. Then when they let me go, in a way, I was kind of like, hallelujah, because this place sucked anyway. But then, when I look at Issa's character, you dating this guy, and then you guys fuck up, you cheat, and then he cheats, and then he has some girl on the side, and you're kind of doing your thing on the side. I mean, I've been in a lot of situations like that, just for the situation, even the funny stuff, like when she went over to, I forgot the guy's house that lives in her complex, and they went downstairs and fucked or whatever. And she, but this past scene when she took the charge over there. Yeah. And she took the charge over there, and then before you know it, they end up fucking, and then they were just like really clumsy at it at first. Like I've been there so many times, like try to go mess around with someone, and I'm just like knocking stuff over. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
That's very.
Oh my god,
That's
try
very
a different
common
position.
though.
My head is hitting the headboard. Oh my god, can we please stop?
That's very
that type of thing.
typical. That's typical.
Right. So, I just feel like it became like an epiphany. Like it hit me, and I was like, wow, this is like really me. And I feel like the show is so successful because it relates to a lot of people. So it's very relatable. Because I mean, most of these scenes, I'm like, wow, I've either been there, or I've done that, or somewhere in my life. Not every single scene, but there's a lot of situations that come up within the show, and I'm like, wow, I've been there, I've done that type of thing. But I no, and then I found out that just today's Thursday, Tuesday, I believe, they just got renewed for season 3. So it looks like, I mean, according to the ratings and everything, because everyone's talking about this show, it looks like it's going to be on for, I hope, a very long time. But I just love the show and everything, and it does reach out to Black 30-somethings / minority 30-somethings, because they don't really have any shows. This is the only show that really reaches out to that core demographic. I mean, because if you really think about it, they don't have other shows like that reach out to that core demographic of 30-somethings. I mean, you have your ratchet shows like Love and Hip Hop and shit like that, but that's trivial shit. You have like Housewives and stuff like that. That's trivial shit. But I mean, as far as like on a broader spectrum, they don't have shows that reaches out to their core demographic, which I'm sure is for Insecure is people in their 30s and 30s and early 40s and that type of thing. So
right.
I think it's brilliant. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, what you're experiencing is exactly the same thing that I experienced by watching Sex and the City when it was on the early 2000s. I was around your age. I was a little younger, actually. I was 25, between 25 and 29. And it was exactly the same thing. I kept saying, "Oh my God, this has happened to me. This is my life. Oh my God, this is blah, blah, blah." I was like somebody like inside my head. Wait, what the hell? Exactly the same thing you're feeling. I felt as well with that show. And it's amazing when you find a show that you connect with that way, because it's like it helps you, I think, realize certain things about yourself and in your own life, and realize that you're not alone. That we all experience this kind of bullshit. But you're right. Excuse me. That there isn't a show equivalent to like Sex and the City, or equivalent to like Insecure, which is not an ensemble show really, but I mean it's similar in terms of what it deals with, sex and dating and everything else, from a Black perspective like that. And like you said, there's Scandal and there's other shows, and How to Get Away with Murder that Shonda Rhimes does, but she does a lot of drama mostly. But I don't really think there is another show, you're right, that's like hers, that is.
Yeah, and that's, I said, that's why it hit me all of a sudden, because I was like, when you really think about it, I couldn't think of one single show that has, that targets the Black 30-something / the minority 30-something. So,
right.
Or, the 40 or early 40s, because I'm sure the demographic is probably between, I would say probably, if I had to guess, I'm just throwing it out there, I don't know the statistics, but I would say probably between 28 and 45 maybe. But I'm just like
45. No, it's probably 40s the max. But go ahead.
well, I won't say 40, maybe early 40s.
You're trying to include me in there. But go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, there isn't any other show out there. And like I said, the early mid 90s, you had shows like that.
Right.
You had, like I said, you had Living Single, you had Martin, you had A Different World, and so on. So
I watched this documentary about the 90s on CNN, and one of the things they talked about was I think it was on that show I watched that they talked about this. Anyway, and one of the things they talked about was, it was on that show. Hold on. Hold on, sorry. I'm getting a thing here. Was that in the 90s, the 60s, there was, the civil rights movement and everything else. Black people began to demand their rights. In the 70s, they began to experience freedoms that they hadn't had before, finally. And in the 80s, Black people started to actually have families and begin to establish, God damn this fucking microphone, establish some sort of wealth that they had been kind of sort of held back from for thousands of years. And then in the 90s, you began to have, and culturally, the 90s was when everything kind of synthesized, and we had all this racial tension and everything else, but we had this huge representation of black people on TV, like CW and on what's the other one? There's another one like that. Anyway,
UPN.
UPN, yes, and also just regular channels as well. But anyway, and so that really was a huge boon for black people. But what the show said was that they knew there was money in black people and advertising to black people. That's why they had all these shows on. They wanted to make money, and then they realized that there wasn't enough money for them to continue to do it. They said at the time, and that's not a bad thing. It's just the fact is that there's so many black people at the time who were downtrodden because of the fucking system we're in and blah blah blah. I mean, the fucking nonsense racism that people have to deal with, that bullshit. That's not their fault. I'm just saying that at the time in the 90s, there wasn't like a ton of really hugely wealthy. You know what I mean? There wasn't a huge set of wealthy black people like there is now. There's a lot more wealthy people black now. You know what I mean? Because just time has marched on, and they've been able to maintain wealth and grow wealth. And so they stopped doing that in the 90s. And so that's why they say we don't have the same kind of representation now of black people on television as we did in the 90s. That's a little history lesson for you I learned on TV. So there you go. But anyway, you're right. But no, you're right. And I'm just saying, I'm just explaining to you what they said, and that you're right. There is not that representation now. And this show is definitely kind of a light in the tunnel, because you don't really see that anymore. And you're right. I agree with you.
Because I had the same conversation with my sister. I was like, they have, TV shows that, target, that have mainly, white 30-something demographics, such as like, The Big Bang Theory and, other shows like that. And what's the other show that comes on CBS?
What other show?
Where the two girls play a waitress at a restaurant. I can't.
Two Broke Girls.
Yeah. So that's targeted mainly towards
white girls,
30-somethings.
Yes.
But you really don't. Like I said, that's why it really hit me, because I was like, Insecure is really literally the only show out here that it's for
represents what you want to see, what you want to see.
Right, black 30-somethings / minority 30-somethings.
Absolutely.
So, and I think this is one of the few shows that has that I know of that has a predominantly minority cast, which is mainly black, Hispanic, and Asian.
Right.
So, I mean, because I really don't see that on other shows.
You're right, you don't.
So, and that's another thing I've noticed. I mean, they have white people on Insecure as well, but if you really look, the majority of the cast is black, Hispanic, and Asian.
Well, that's because that's the world that she lives in, and that's what she wanted to represent. That makes sense. Yeah. Right. That's what happens. That's the thing, though. I don't think that a lot of shows are racist. I don't think they're inherently racist or anything. And you don't see a lot of black people. I think that they're representative of the writers and the lives that they themselves lived, and therefore they're not around a lot of black people or Mexican people or Hispanic people, whatever. They're only around white people, and a lot of white people are like that. They're only around white people. A lot of black people are like that. They're only around black people. And so when you have a writer who is representing their own life, then they're going to represent what they themselves experience. And that usually, if it's a white person like that, they only have white people on the show, and vice versa. So I'm saying it's not inherently racist. I just think it's just a product of the lives people lead, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Right. So anyway.
So I have a question. Yeah. Just changing kind of the subject here. Have you ever flown on Frontier Airlines?
Why would I ever want to fly on Frontier Airlines? That
I'm just no. The reason I'm asking is because I'm looking online now.
Do not do it.
Okay, that's
because
all
I will tell you why. Because my best friend, his family worked in the airline industry for like 40 years, whatever. His dad did anyway, and so he's always flown everything else. He knows all about airlines. He's flown almost all the airlines, and we were literally talking about this like a few weeks ago, because my husband just went to Jamaica for 2 weeks for business. He's going to be back tomorrow, but he
must be nice.
He didn't want to go, and I could have gone with him. I had no interest in going to Jamaica, because Jamaica is like the most fucking homophobic place in the world, literally. I mean, it even says on the internet.
I saw an article online where someone said stop calling Jamaica the most homophobic place on earth.
If you look at the fucking statistics and the fucking people who get murdered there and the people who actually have gotten beaten up there, it's fucking gay people. So yes, it's true. I don't give a fuck what they said. Anyway, I did a lot of fucking research on this, and I know it's the fucking truth because I did the fucking research. Anyway, I didn't go because of that, basically, and because I didn't really like hot places. If it would have been Hawaii, I would have gone to Hawaii, but fucking Jamaica, no thank you. Anyway, the point is, Frontier Airlines was a possibility. He took to get to Houston from here, and from Houston to Jamaica. But he took Southwest all the way anyway, both ways. Anyway, we looked into that, and my friend Ken told me about it and said, "Oh my God, do not ever fly Frontier Airlines because it is like the fucking Tic Tac airline, and the prices are cheap." But
is it kind of similar to like? Is it similar to like Spirit?
Yes, exactly. They fucking
no.
they fucking bill you for every fucking thing. Like, Spirit Airlines is that way too. Like, you go there, your bag check to make a reservation costs money, to get to pick a seat costs money, and so by the time you add all this other shit up, it's the same price.
You could have just
American
got a flight on
or
another
whatever.
airline.
Yes. So
okay, no, the reason I say that because I was looking online, they had flights to Denver for $62 round trip, and I was like, but I don't know anything about Frontier, but now since you told me, I'm going to skip that.
Well, don't. Yeah, Frontier. Well, Frontier I think used to be part of Alaska Airlines or something, but they're just like not. They're a budget airline, and they cost what they cost for a reason. So you get what you pay for, just like anything else. So
well, now since you've confirmed that, I'm not going through that.
So before we go off the air, tell us about your root canal procedure.
Okay, so I had a root canal done. Actually, technically, my root canal was supposed to be done like a month ago, but I kept pushing it off for various reasons. And then I think one time they had to do it because of some type of emergency that happened with one of their patients. So Tuesday was the day I finally get the root canal done. The root canal itself, I didn't feel anything. I mean, it was pretty much nothing. But the only downside to it is that I sat in that chair for so fucking long. I was like, y'all, I'm ready to go. And then by the time I left, my mouth had been open for so long. By the time I left, I experienced lockjaw, and I'm like, my entire left side of my face was in pain.
Oh my God.
Like, I mean, and everything. And then it was around the same time, like the local anesthetic was wearing off, so the pain was starting to kick in. Luckily, my friend Myra, she came to pick me up, and I had to get a prescription filled. And like the first 3 hours, I felt horrible, mainly because of the jaw pain from holding my mouth open for so long.
Yeah.
And the local anesthetic was wearing off. But once I took my medicine and kind of lay down for about 2 or 3 hours, I felt a little bit better.
Good.
And then today, I feel completely fine. I mean, there's still a little, like if I yawn, of course, I can still feel a slight pull, but it's not anything compared to Tuesday. Like Tuesday, I left and like the pain was like radiating through my entire body, no lie. And I did not realize that a tooth could do so much havoc on your body. I mean, it was like pulsating all down through my arms, through my legs.
It hurts like fucking hell. I know, it's painful.
I mean, all over a tooth.
Well, because your teeth have nerve endings in them, so
right. And it's just funny to me. It just boggles my mind that a tooth in your mouth could just cause so much pain through your entire body.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I just got in the bed and I laid down for took a 2-hour nap, and I was like, I pop pills. The thing said take 4 pills at once. I took all 4 at once. I was like, she was like, just take 4 and knock the pain out. And then she gave me some Tylenol 3, which is like a prescription Tylenol.
Uh-huh.
I guess it's stronger than the over-the-counter version, but today I feel fine. I mean, I feel great now. It's still a slight pull. I have to go back tomorrow because I have to do my impressions for my crown. And then they said that they have to numb me up again. Now, I don't know if they're going to have to use a needle to numb it up again, because if so, I'm going to be sore all over again. But I'm hoping they're just numb the area with some shit that they have in there. I don't know. But I just really hope that they don't have to be like, oh, okay, open your mouth and, we need to stick you with these needles again. And I'm like, because if that's the case, I'm going to be sore as fuck tomorrow afternoon. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. And she was like, oh, well, just to let you know, you're not going to be here nearly as long. It may be like an hour tops. And I was like, okay, I can deal with that. But I just don't, I'm going to tell her, but if she does have to give me a needle, I'm be like, can you please numb it with something else before you stick a needle in there, because I'm still recovering from 2 days ago. So, and I don't want to be sore all over again. And then my Friday is just shot the shit because I can't do anything.
Right.
And then here's the thing. You know, when you have a root canal, you can eat, you can only eat soft foods, right?
Okay.
For the past 2 days, my diet has consisted of eggs, mashed potatoes, and bread. And maybe the occasional Jello pudding, okay?
Okay.
And now, of course, it seems like, I know it's a psychological thing, but as soon as she told me I couldn't eat anything that was tough, such as chicken or steak or anything of that nature, all of a sudden this happened on Tuesday, and Popeyes always has their Tuesday special. Of course, I wanted some fried chicken that night, right? So
bad
I was just
for you.
So I was like, I can't have any fried chicken. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna go to, I didn't, and of course after this I wasn't gonna cook anything. So I got my ass up. I went to Golden Chick, and I got a thing of mashed potatoes, and I got me some rolls. That was my dinner, because that's the only thing I could eat that was really soft. And I think I had a Coke or something, but.
That's like 1,000 calories right there. The Coke, the
potatoes,
and the rolls.
Well, that's fine, because that's the only thing I had to eat that day, literally, because I didn't eat anything before I went to the dinner. So that was I had one meal that day. So technically, I'm well under my 2,000 calorie limit per day.
But I'm sure you're well over your cholesterol limit. But anywho.
But normally I don't eat like that, but it's like...
I'm just saying, that's bad. Golden Chick, it tastes amazing. Golden Chick and Ragin' Cajun, or whatever the fuck it's called. what's it called? The chicken place like that? Ragin' something. Anyway, those are good. And I remember when I used to eat there a long time ago. It's good, but I don't like it.
Not Golden Chick. Are you talking about Raising Cane?
Yeah, Raising Cane, that's it, yeah. It's good food, but I mean, it tastes good, but it's bad for you. It's horrible food.
This is just temporary because the doctor said I can't eat.
Whatever. You talked about going there before. I know you go there all the time. Popeyes and all that.
No, I do not. I go to the gym and I work out. I actually want to go. I was actually going to go to Costco and go buy some salmon and salmon, whatever. I was going to go steam it, and I got home late, and then of course Costco, which is down the street, closes like 8 o'clock, 8:30 or something like that. So
don't go around saying salmon. You're gonna sound like a hick. Don't say salmon. It's salmon. Salmon. There is the L is not pronounced. Salmon.
Salmon.
No, it is not. Oh my God. Anyway, well, I'm glad you feel better. I'm glad
temporarily.
Over.
I may be back in pain tomorrow, just holding my stomach in a fetal position. Right. I don't know.
You'll be okay. You're gonna be okay. I'm glad at least you got it done. It's over with, so that's good. So all right, well, that's all our show for tonight, everybody. We'll be back next for Thursday, which will be August the 17th. If you want to listen to the show then, we'll be around. Be sure to check us out at gayxyz.com. Also check us out on Facebook. Follow us there if you're not following us already on Gayxyz Show. Also on Twitter, Gayxyz Show, and on iTunes. So be sure to find us wherever, listen to us. And also remember, you can listen to us live as you're doing now, hopefully. If you're not, then you can always listen to the show live. We always record our shows live.
We're one of the few shows that do that.
Yes, and so that means you can call in and interact with us, and we can hear how much you hate us or love us or whatever, or how stupid we are. Whatever you want to say, we want to hear it. So be sure to call in. The number for future reference is 214-377-0481, or you can use Skype and dial Off Limits Show, and we will take your call on the air. So be sure and check us out. And by the way, Jason, you can find out more about me at offlimitsshow.com, and Jason, you can find out more about him at...
you can follow me on Instagram, which is Fire and Ice 17. That's Fire and Ice 17. I think I'm going to delete my Twitter account.
Why?
I don't use it a lot. That's probably the one.
That's no reason to delete it, though. Just leave it there. In the future, you may need it for something. Leave it. There's no reason to delete it.
That's true.
That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, by the way, everybody, I told you a couple of shows back that I think I told you I was starting a candle line. And it's a very interesting candle line that's very unique. And we use all real, pure, essential oils, no fragrance oils. Fragrance oils can often contain some really horrible things like oil and petroleum and make you sick and ill, which most paraffin wax does, by the way. Anyway, we use soy-based wax, and it's all essential oils. So they're all real, full-on, highly aerobic. Huh?
Paraffin wax is bad for you?
Yes, and almost every candle uses that. Don't inhale paraffin wax. It has oil in it usually.
I mean, but it's okay to use on your hands and stuff. You go to a spa, right?
And phthalates or whatever it's called. You can use it for your hands, but don't inhale it, or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And actually, if you put it on your hands, it probably has oil in it too. But anyway, so I'm gonna be talking about that more as the weeks go on. When I've gotten the boxes, and I've gotten the labeling done, and everything else. I'm working all that. So when I release all that, we're gonna have a little event here in Dallas. So whether I think it's gonna be later I think I should be done and ready later, like in the fall or the winter this year to do that. So be sure, and if you're in Dallas, come join me and my friends and family and Jason if he wants to go to
yes, I will be there
to smell my new candles because they're really unique, especially what they're called. You're gonna love what each little candle's called. They all have unique names, and they're special in other ways too. I won't tell you about right now, but anyway, so be sure to look for that in the future, and we'll talk to you guys. I
feel like in Atlanta, I feel like a housewife that you're having this party, and I've been invited. So I'm going to be in the confessional. So I'm here at Donovan's candle launch party.
You better not throw shade.
We're going to see what these candles are all about.
Yeah, you better not throw shade like Sheree and all those bitches did at the other one they did with that little event they did. But anyway. Okay, so we'll be back on next week. Look for you guys next week. Thanks for listening. Have a good night and stay gay, as we always say. Stay gay.
Bye. Stay gay, motherfuckers.